Custer's Last Stand. They died with their boots on. In Bill's Boathouse in 54mm scale. There it is. Now, what rules should we use? A lot of debate. Sword in the Flame and many others. Brother Against Brothers. And, well, we decided to go with a rule set for the giant Custer's Last Stand game, the Battle of Little Bighorn, with none other than Pete Panzeri, famous wargamer, historian, author of several books, including the Osprey Custer's Last Stand. We're using his Frontiers in Flames book. Now, this can be purchased at Fallin with Crazy Horse Rules, Indian Wars of the American West. And here's a couple things. Figure scale is 1 figure equals 20 men. And what's nice about Pete's game system and rules, it's outlined very well. There's his one chart. As you can see, everything is on just a couple pages. A really simple system, rolling d6s. You have the ranges and the weapons, and then there's your melee chart. Pete Panzeri did a wonderful job on this rule system. And the Goober calendar is an update. It's $8 for museums, $12 for regular purchasing, but you now have to pay shipping. We had a slight error with that. I hope you all understand. Okay, everyone, the Goober, the Traveling Bear 2026 calendar. We start off with none other than Robert Ambrose, the phenomenal park ranger at Fort Frederick here. And then we got Goober. This is a Confederate cannon, the 12-pounder Napoleon. And that's our cover. Now I'm going to flip through these pages, and they're well worth checking out. All right. So our next page is Fort Ligonier. Okay, we have Goober at the Sentry Box. We got Fort Ligonier itself in Ligonier, Pennsylvania. Don Kramer, Regiment de Lorraine. French Marine with Goober with one of my board games, Struggle for New France. What do you think of that? All right. Fort Ligonier is an awesome site. Wow, look at this. We have CSS News Museum in Kinston, North Carolina. We have Goober at the monument here at the Weiss Fork Battlefield. Here we have Goober and Colonel Handsome with famous author, historian, Wade Sokolowski. Here we have the two nice ladies that gave us a tour of their Civil War mansion. I forgot their names. And here we have Goober and I with Matt. He runs the CSS News Museum, with Goober giving them a donation check. That's the month of February. Pretty cool, huh? Now that we have a home near Williamsburg, Virginia, Goober was a proud supporter of the American Friends of Lafayette, and here's Goober at the American Friends of Lafayette wreath at one of the homes in Williamsburg. Here's the Governor's Palace, the Parish Church, and there's my lovely wife Lisa with Goober and I sitting on a bench in Williamsburg. Lisa has a great sense of humor putting up with my Goober activities. All right, let's see what happens in April. Well, look at April. April is Welcome to Fort Frederick. Got Goober with the artillery piece, the Civil War 12-pounder Napoleon. Goober in front of Fort Frederick. Very large stone fortification in Maryland. And here's Robert Ambrose with Goober in color from the picture of the cover of the calendar. Let's see what happens in May. All right, well, May, we have Goober sitting on Lookout Mountain at Fort Ticonderoga. Here's Goober with a giant pencil at Fort Ticonderoga. Here's Goober at Montcalm's Cross at the Battle of Carillon at Fort Ticonderoga. And here is famous historian Stuart Lilly. And we had to include Stuart. Fort Ticonderoga is a big supporter of my games and history, and he's a wonderful historian. Month of June, we're covering Gloucester, Virginia with Scoot's Barbecue and the entire Ward family. We have the Ward restaurant on Porters and Main. Scoot's Barbecue, Olivia's, and there's Lisa, myself, and Goober at Scoot's. And the Ward family, excuse me, Gary Ward, Karen, and Olivia, and the whole family are just fantastic. All right. Well, Matthews, my new hometown for Goober and I, Matthews, Virginia. And this is the front of the White Dog Bistro restaurant. Very nice place. Here we are with Goober at the Sally Tompkins Cottage. Here we are with Mrs. Reed. She is a historian, or she is in charge of the Historical Society, I believe, as the president this year. Mrs. Reed Lawson. And then here we are in the Matthews Museum with Goober giving out a check. All right, and that's for July. Now for August, we have the famous historian, miniature wargamer, James Curtis. And he gave a great tour of the airplane war park in Hampton, Virginia. And here's Goober. And believe it or not, James Curtis is a retired major, and he carried Goober all through the park. I mean, it was just phenomenal. Let's see what happens in September. Well, look at this. It's the Old Stone Fort. And the Old Stone Fort, here we have the fort itself. The sign that says the cannonball is lodged up there. The Old Stone Fort is sort of the church fort from the movie Drums Along the Mohawk. There's Goober and I at the front of the sign. There's Clyde, the historian. He's phenomenal. And please remember, the Old Stone Fort needs your support. October, wow, Gloucester, Virginia, right down the road from Matthews. Let's start off with Mr. Robert Kelly. He has made about 40 videos with me, puts up with Goober and I all the time. Here is his museum. He is the director of the Museum of Gloucester. Here we are with Goober. Gloucester last year had all these metal sculptures all through the town from France, and Goober was photobombing them. And then here we have the village blacksmith here in Gloucester, and he's quite famous. He's been on a lot of TV shows, and just a wonderful guy, and he really puts up with my weird humor with Goober when we show up at the blacksmith shop. November, well, we have very famous historian Wayne Motts here with me and Goober, and we gave them a check last year for several $100s for the Gettysburg Battlefield Preservation Group. Here's Goober at the First Shot Monument. This is a site that a lot of tourists don't go to. And of course, Goober's at the Visitor Center entrance wearing his licensed battlefield guide pin. He has 3 of those, by the way. And here we are, Goober at the Eisenhower National Historic Site, where Eisenhower lived. Well, that's November. Let's see what December holds. Well, December has the Maryland Veterans Museum. And we have Walt Leach with his Gatling gun, Gigi, and Goober. And Goober out here with the Piper Cub. We have Mr. Nell of the Maryland's Veterans Museum and his lovely wife, Mrs. Connie. They are both wonderful ambassadors, historians at the Maryland Veterans Museum, and they've made a lot of videos with me, and they've been great supporters of Goober. All right, well, explore the amazing world of Bill Molyneux games. We have War of 1812, Weiss Fort, French Indian War Volumes 1 and 2, and so forth. And really hope if you're a museum for 2026, you'll look at ordering some of my games along with the new Battle of Gloucester, Battle of the Hook. The back of our cover is basically a Goober cover with him and a miniature war game. What do you think of that? So Goober, I think that's it for our advertisement. Blue Panther Printing, just type in Blue Panther, Bill Molyneux Games, the Goober calendar, and once again, $15 includes shipping. A great deal, wouldn't you say, Goober? and $10 for museums, and I'll give you the secret code to get the $5 off. All right, please consider ordering a Goober calendar. They're going on sale here this week of September, 28th October, first week. I really got to say, I think that's it. I covered a lot in 9 minutes. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous. And again, thank you for supporting my vision of the way to help historic sites. And this is just one of the many ways I try to help. Bye bye, everyone.